It's worked so far, but we're not out yet.
I wanna know what you're thinking. There are some things you can't hide. I wanna know what you're feeling. Tell me what's on your mind.
Welcome to the Bar Exam. I'm Adam Barr, and I'll be your host and moderator. I'm here because I want to know what's on your mind. I've been a teacher for 23 years, and I'm here to listen to my students and find out what they're thinking on a variety of topics. Let's get to it and subject these kids to the Bar Exam. Hello, welcome to another episode of the Bar Exam. Remember, if you want to get in touch with us, you can message us on Instagram at @the_bar_exam. And now we have a YouTube channel, also the Bar Exam. Just make sure you spell it BARR. June is lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, LGBTQ plus Pride Month. It's celebrated annually in June to honor the 1969 Stonewall riots in New York City and works to advance equal justice and equal opportunity for the LGBTQ plus community. LGBTIQA plus, either way, it stands for, if you're not aware, lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, intersex, queer, questioning, asexual, and a lot of other terms, non-binary, pansexual, related to one's sexuality. Me personally, I often hear the word tolerance used for a variety of minority groups, and I don't really like the word tolerance. To me, tolerate means to put up with people, and I don't think it's a good choice of words, and I think in today's culture, words really matter. Again, tolerate, it's like putting up with people. I prefer acceptance. We need to accept people who are not the same as us, and all just figure out a way to get along. This podcast will be in two parts. I'm going to try something different. I teach in a suburban school outside of Albany, New York, Mahonison High School, and I have a group of students today who want to discuss their experience in the LGBTQ plus community. And then I'm going to do the same interview with the same questions in the school district in which I live. It's a neighboring district, to see what differences there are in the school communities from one school to another. Also, I just want to throw out there, if you feel in crisis or need, the Trevor Project is available for you. It's 1-866-488-7386. For my teens, you can also text GOT5 to 741-741 to start a conversation. The idea of coming out or being different in terms of not just sexual orientation, but gender view of oneself is not easy, especially in our country's climate, and our society does not make it easy for people in the LGBTQ plus community to feel safe. So my guests today are here to talk about their experiences and let us know what it has been like for them to exist in their school community. So I'm going to let them introduce themselves.
Hi, my name is Morgan.
Hi, my name is Royal, or Roy for short.
Hi, my name is Mia.
I am also Morgan.
Hi, my name's Bethany.
Excellent. So my first question would be, at what age did you feel or know that you were, if we want to use the term gay or transgender, or sort of not in the body or the feel of what society now tries to pinhole you to?
I knew probably when I was around 5 and there was my best friend and there was a girl I liked. I didn't know what being gay was at the time, but probably around then.
I never really, thought that I was gay, but I was having crushes on girls since, 5th grade, and I didn't realize that would make me different. But it wasn't until a couple years ago that I started, questioning gender and more, getting more in depth with my sexuality.
Yeah, I realized probably when I was in 6th grade that I was having crushes on girls, and that wasn't the norm.
I think I really came to terms with it around early middle school, and that was also my edgy, preteen, awful human being era, and those things really clashed.
I don't think I realized until I was 14 during COVID, actually.
My next question is an important one. What pronouns do you use?
I use they, she, he.
I use any, but I do like they, she, and he also.
I also use any, but mainly like they, them, she, her.
To continue with the trend, also use any, but my preferences tend towards he, they.
I use she, they pronouns.
I have to say my child uses they, them pronouns, and I automatically go to referring to people now as they, them. If I don't know who you are, I just refer to people as they, them. It's just what I've fallen into. So how large would you say our LGBTQ plus community is at Mahonison?
Honestly, I feel like it might be a little bit bigger than it appears, because there is a little bit of hatred, for lack of a better word here, where some people are afraid to come out, so some people aren't as open with it.
And then do you feel that there are more people who would fit the biological stereotype as female or male who have come out or are known to be part of the LGBT community in Mahonison?
I think it's really depending on how you were raised and what you see online, because I really wasn't sure about my gender, and then I realized how much of like a social construct it is and how stupid it is to like fall under two categories when you can express yourself however you want. But I think it depends on what you're exposed to and how comfortable you are with yourself.
Do you feel, or how would you describe then the culture towards the LGBTQ plus community in our school? I know it was alluded to very briefly that it's not the greatest, but is there a way you could describe it, the overall culture towards the community?
I feel like a lot of people who aren't members of the community in the school are either outwardly against it or inwardly, like, they say they're acceptant or tolerant, but when asked to assist in any way or asked to not do things that are against the community, they refuse or just don't do it.
All right, I'm going to ask then this one. I think you could probably each answer and answer honestly. I think it's a tough one. Do you feel safe in school?
No.
Not really.
I will be honest, last year I had a horrible experience with people being homophobic in this school.
You can talk or say as much as you want. It's all about you. It's not about me. I mean, if you want to give examples or how you feel, Morgan gave a pretty resounding no, that you do not feel safe in this school. And if you want to elaborate, fantastic.
I was in the library last year with my friend Vicky, who I had med class with, and there were these people who were sitting and talking about the community in just a horrible way. They were talking about how they were somehow okay to be homophobic because of how they were raised. And the entire conversation started off by them being like, hey, F-slur, and to each other, and it was just a horrible experience. I went straight to Lynn's room and I told her about it, and I cried in her room for a good 30 minutes. And this was when I first moved here.
I think I was actually also there too. Were you like the person that like left like and told the librarian?
Yeah.
I was also there, and I was like sitting and texting my friend like, I don't understand what's happening right now. How can people think that that's okay?
Yeah. The librarian ended up actually outing me and telling them that because of what they were saying, I left.
Yeah,
and then
I
she
was there.
pointed
I
me
heard
out
that.
on the way out.
On that note, I have also definitely heard people like saying the F slur in the hallway. I have been called the F slur, and I think I don't necessarily feel unsafe. Like, I don't feel like I'm gonna be hate crimed, but I feel like there's definitely no respect. So
I feel a similar way. I don't feel fully like at risk of getting beaten up or anything just walking around in the halls, but I do feel that if I were to openly voice who I am as a person, people would try to stop that extremely fast.
Do you feel that you have allies in the school, whether they're other students or faculty or administration? Do you feel like you have a safe place to go?
I feel like I have a safe place to go. There's definitely Blinn here. There's some really good teachers here, like Mr. Barr. And there is definitely a very strong community of the LGBTQ plus people that are here. And I feel like a lot of people are very connected here within the community. So there's a good place for people to go when you do come out.
I also agree with that, but I do want to make a note that if you say you are an ally and all you do is like wear a rainbow like during Pride Month or something, that is not an ally. You have to express that you stand with LGBTQ plus people and really just like educate yourself, because it's something that people struggle with every day, and if that's not you, you really can't just you have to educate yourself to understand.
I wholeheartedly agree. I've had friends in this school say that they were allies, and then the second they thought I was out of earshot, start hurling the F slur around like it was nothing.
I mean, I guess this piggybacks on that. Do you feel safe to express who you really are in school?
I don't, which is why I'm not really out as a person, because I'm scared of the consequence of outing myself like that. So I am not.
I don't know. I have a girlfriend, and I like see people holding hands in the hallway, and that is something that like we never do. I feel like I would like to, or just like in general be more open, but I don't feel like I can.
I feel the same way too. Me and my girlfriend will be walking in the hallways holding hands sometimes and get dirty looks from people, and it just makes me feel extremely uncomfortable, and sometimes it's really hard being out and having people judge you that way.
I guess on top of that, do you think there's a difference between how our biologically female LGBTQ plus students feel and are treated compared to how our biologically male students are treated? Do you think there's a difference, if we wanted to use the word, between, let's say, gay or lesbian? Do you think people are viewed differently or treated differently?
I think that both groups get treated probably equally as awful, but I think there is a difference in the method of the treatment.
I definitely agree. In the bathrooms, sometimes there are different slurs used for both lesbians and gay men, I feel like, and they can be really harsh to hear sometimes.
I agree with Morgan. I think they both get treated differently, as you said, but there are different methods and consequences as to how that happens.
I think that assigned female at birth people do already have like a lot of struggles to deal with, and like a lot of inequality to experience at a young age, especially in school. But I do think it's important to talk about toxic masculinity when it comes to assigned male people at birth, and expressing themselves in school.
I definitely agree with that. As someone who was assigned male at birth, I obviously can't understand the struggle of someone assigned female at birth, but from my perspective, the role that toxic masculinity has to play in coming out and being open about my sexuality and gender identity, it has had a very major role to play.
Do you find then, even within the LGBTQ plus community at our school, there are multiple cliques, or do you find that the entire community is accepting?
I don't think the entire community is accepting of everyone within the community, because there are a lot of gay people that don't accept transgender people, and that I have had a hard time with, because there was one time that I expressed that I was questioning my gender to one of my friends who I thought would be very, supportive of it, and this person just said, "Oh, you're one of those," and I was very shocked, and I couldn't tell the tone or if they were joking.
Yeah, and I think that goes back to what I said in the beginning. Words matter. I mean, words are used very precisely in today's political landscape, that we need to be careful. Even the other podcast about suicide, not you're committing suicide, but dying by suicide. Again, I don't like the word tolerance. To me, it means to put up with somebody. And I think we see a lot of people who say they're allies, but an ally needs to be somebody who works with you, not just says, yes, I support you. Which sort of takes me to my next one. Do you feel that the school provides resources or a safe space? I know it builds on something before, but I know a long time ago we had maybe my second or third year teaching, because I was the advisor, it was called the Gay Straight Alliance. As I mentioned before, when I talk to kids from Niskayuna, they have visibility. Do we have a club or organization for you to go to?
I mean, we have No Place for Hate.
So the answer is no.
Sorry, I was trying to find a nice way to say that.
Well, that takes me to the next one. There's been a lot of controversy in the news about a member of our school board that created some drama. I was actually hopeful with the outcry against it until our next school board election. Can any of you give us a quick overview of what happened with one of our school board members?
I can. Basically what happened is this school board member compared the GSA, Gay Straight Alliance, at the middle school to a pedophilic group, and then wouldn't apologize or rescind the statement, and then also read what would be considered something pornographic to the school board.
And all of this can be found with a quick internet search if anyone's listening to this podcast and is curious. It was in the news. Does anyone want to add to the controversy?
I would say that a lot of people on the school board are not going to put, people in the LGBTQ plus community, that's not going to be a priority for them, even though we obviously will struggle more, and we have a higher suicide rate. And I just saw a lot of, comments from adults and parents online that I never thought that those people would think of people in our community like that. It was just very eye-opening, and I had been kind of I hadn't seen it in a while, and to see it from people adults who you think you should trust and be able to go to, it was very scary.
In addition, I'd like to give a kind of benefit of the doubt, because I did speak at one of the last board meetings, and then the person who made the comments spoke to me specifically. I think that it might be a learning experience, and they are trying to learn and educate themselves and get better, but I still do think an apology is in order.
Do you think it's easy to have a relationship while you're in high school? If you're in a relationship or you're looking for a relationship, I know it's a big pivot, but I know some of you are in relationships. Is it something that's easy, especially if we have a small population within the school of trying to meet people, whether in school or from other schools?
I think it was pretty easy for me personally, because I just ended up dating a longtime friend of mine, so it wasn't like we had to kind of be like, hey, are you gay? We know each other, so it's not like I had to go searching for someone else in the community. I just knew my friend, so.
I mean, I haven't dated somebody of the same gender or anything yet, but I am in a straight appearing relationship right now because I'm bi, And I can say that I haven't had any struggles with that, so I'm not sure if people in like a lesbian or gay relationship. I know you said, Bethany, that you get like dirty looks in the hallways and stuff, but I can't really say anything to that.
It took me a while to be able to hold my girlfriend's hand in the hallway, to be honest. I was honestly scared of getting dirty looks, which I did when we finally did it. It took about a month, actually, for me to build up the courage to do it. And I don't know, teachers gave me smiles and good looks, so it was good. It was only students that were looking down on us.
In that way, like, I've been with my girlfriend for 3 years, and we still haven't, like, told some teachers that, like, have known us for the entire time we've been in high school. We still haven't really, like, held hands in the hallway or done anything to really, like, show that we're together. So it's, I don't, like, the relationship itself isn't hard at all, but, like, just existing as a lesbian couple in high school, and specifically our high school, isn't like the easiest, most accepting place or situation.
Well, if you're going to college, are you looking forward to college and maybe finding a larger community for yourself to fit into? I mean, with my own child, I remember thinking, I can't wait to get out of middle school and get to high school so that there'll be a larger community for you, because middle school was a nightmare. Do you hopefully see the same thing if you're going to college? I'll find more people who I can feel comfortable around.
I think definitely where I'm going, I'm looking forward to that because I think it's a very diverse area, and I know that by following the college's Instagram, they have a lot of like educational opportunities for staff members and other students, for like straight students or like just people who aren't in the community, to educate themselves so that they respect everyone. So hopefully that actually works out and I can feel like safe and respected at college. So I'm looking forward to that, hoping that it actually comes true.
So the college I'm going to, I know it's probably going to be like very accepting and welcoming because the president is actually in a gay relationship, and I see a lot of cute stuff about that. And even looking at the like class of 2027 page, I see a lot of people from the community. So I don't expect to get a lot of judgment or hate there, but I know like places that are more like rural or something, people have no idea what a lot of stuff in the LGBT community is and are not going to be very open.
Is there anything else, now that I've gone through a whole bunch of questions, is there anything else you'd like to share or talk about or say about how you feel about the school community? Or maybe if we are lucky to have other young people listening to this, do you feel hopeful, or are you more worried now than before when looking at the greater society?
This doesn't address a lot of the things you just mentioned, but you did say like about the school community in general. I just mentioned my college having classes about like learning to respect everyone in the community, and I think that maybe that's something our high school could invest in, because I know a lot of students, as we've said, we've heard things in the hallways, we've been targets, but also like the staff, I've definitely heard transphobic comments, homophobic comments, and I think just some simple education could definitely help to make the high school and even just like our town and everything a lot more accepting and respectful.
And since it is Pride Month, I want to say Happy Pride Month. And I think we should educate ourselves on like the leaders in history, like people like Marsha P. Johnson. I think it's very important to know. A lot of actually black trans people are like the leaders of the parades and stuff that happened in the past, like Stonewall riots, we should definitely educate ourselves on those.
All right. I can't thank you enough for sharing your feelings on a very, very personal subject. Remember, if you want to get in touch with us, you can find us on Instagram at the_bar_exam, and we are now on YouTube at the bar exam. Please come back next week for part 2, where I'll basically ask the same exact questions from another school. Happy Pride.